Hey guys, this is Book Talk with Keiko. How are y'all? Because I'm good. I might look different, maybe. Just a little maybe. We're going to be reading today the Wimpy Kid movie diary, how Greg Heffley went to Hollywood. So this is all about the production of the movie and how it all got started. Let's read the back of this. Go behind the scenes with Jeff Kinney and the making of Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie. If you've ever wondered how the movie gets made, you're not alone. Author and illustrator Jeff Kinney didn't know either. But when his bestseller series, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, was turned into a live-action movie by the 20th Century Fox, he learned how a book gets adopted into a major motion picture. Complete with photographies, script pages, storybook sketches, costume designs, and original art by Jeff Kinney. The Wimpy Kid movie diary is the perfect companion to the best-selling series. Some pictures on the back here. And nothing on the side except the name. And this book, I really like it. It's like a silky thing. And by the way, the acknowledgments, we will not be going through this. Look how much text is on that page. But that's at the end of the book anyways. Alright, let's get started. A Wimp is Born. Greg Heffley was created in January 1998 in a small apartment in Massachusetts. There wasn't much to him, really. He was just a little pencil doodle and a cheap sketchbook. 1 month later, Zachary Gordon was born on the other side of the country, in California. At that moment, Greg and Zach didn't really have a whole lot in common. But 11 years later, the two would come together when Zach was chosen to play the part of Greg in a live-action Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie. This book is the story of how a little idea got turned into a major motion picture, and how a fictional cartoon character became a real boy. So this is Greg Heffley right here. He was born, and then a month later, Zachary Gordon was born, and this is the picture of Zachary, and this is the picture of Greg. A rough start. Greg Heffley didn't spring to life fully formed. Like any kid, Greg had to change and grow before he was ready to go into the real world on his own. In fact, it took him a really long time for Greg to develop into the character that he is today, which is kind of strange considering he is basically a stick figure. And then it has Greg saying, "Hey." As you can see, Greg started off a little rough, but he evolved over time. So he started looking like this is how he went from a little person, bigger and bigger, to how he is now. While Greg was going through major changes in the looks department, his stories were coming together. All the ideas of the Diary of a Wimpy Kid series were written down in the same sketch pad where Greg first appeared. These are like actual pictures from the sketch pad from when they were sketching it out. Each of the pages of the beginning of the sketch pad took a few hours to fill out. Picture. Over time, more and more ideas were crammed onto each page. The last few took several months to complete. This is how many ideas were crammed into one page. That's an actual picture of the the sketch pad. It took 4 years to fill up the sketch pad and create all the scenes and characters in Diary of a Wimpy Kid universe. Right about the time the last idea was written down, Zach Gordon was celebrating his 4th birthday. The pages of a sketch pad were photocopied, and each joke was cut out and stuck onto giant sheets of poster board. It took a few more years to put all the little pieces of paper in order and type them up in a single story. The end result was the giant 1,300-page book that was first published online. More than 90% of the material written in the sketch pad didn't make the final cut. This is a picture of Zach, the one who plays Greg. A year later, an editor in New York decided to publish Diary of a Wimpy Kid, and that's how Greg Heffley made the leap from a sketch pad to a printed book. A few months later, Zach Gordon, now working as an actor in television and film, read the book and told his mom he hoped someone would make it into the movie. And if they did, he told her he wanted to play the part of Greg Heffley. That's the sketchpad version and the book version. Making it real. Zach wasn't the only one thinking about making Diary of a Wimpy Kid into a movie. It turns out a few people in Hollywood were thinking the same thing, but everyone had a different idea of what the film version should be. And then these are a bunch of drawings, and I'll read them in a second. Greg is drawing, but everyone else is real. Greg is played by an adult, and everyone else is a kid. Greg and Riley saved their school from aliens. One word, puppets. So, just different ideas. A lot of people wanted to make big changes to the story and the characters, but finally, one of the movie studio came up with an idea that worked. Picture again. How about if we make the movie just like the book? That's brilliant! The idea of a live-action version of Diary of a Wimpy Kid raised some questions. How would fans of the book feel about Greg being played as a real actor? And would he look the way they thought he should? But there was even more important things to consider before moving forward. Can I get free popcorn at the premiere? Sure. Then let's do it. And the guy there. That's the big thing they had to think about. Going to Hollywood. The studio executives and producers are the people responsible for getting the movie made. One of the first things they do is bring their writers to pitch their ideas for what should happen in the movie. The movie opens with a crane shot of a middle school playground. A cold wind blows across the basketball court, scattering leaves. The camera comes to rest on a moldy piece of cheese. That's the picture I just read. Or right here, I don't know. Once the studio and producers hear a pitch they like, they hire the writers to start working on the screenplay. A screenplay describes everything that happens in the film, from action to dialogue. Here's how the opening scene of Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie looks in the script. And this is the script I'm about to read. Greg's bedroom 1. Black screen, soft breathing. Super September is scrawled across the screen in Greg's handwriting. Then blinding light, Roderick OS, Greg's POV. We find Roderick Heffley as an insolent 16-year-old. In our face, Roderick is dressed for school. Roderick couldn't. Greg half asleep. What? Roderick shakes Greg Heffley, 12, awake in his twin bed. Roderick, what are you doing? Get up. Mom and Dad have been calling you for an hour. You're going to be late for your first day of middle school. Greg, what? Greg looks over at his clock. It reads 8:01 a.m. And I remember this scene, actually. The writers try to include the most important stuff from the book, but they make changes too. Some scenes and characters from the book are cut and new ones are added. Sometimes the writers add new jokes and scenes to surprise the audience. Because let's face it, if everything happens in the books and in the film, there wouldn't be really a point to going to see the movies. Does this mean I get to make out with Holy Hills? No, but you have to have your face in Roderick's armpit. So that's one of the scenes that they changed up here. The screenplay goes through lots and lots of changes as the studio and producers make suggestions. Each time the writers turn down the screenplay, it's called a new draft. Diary of a Wimpy Kid went through about 10 different drafts before filming began. So I guess I didn't know the actors. Oh no, the writers turned down it. Okay. Not every idea makes it to the final draft. Here's a part of the scene that was in the script early on, but ended up getting cut. And then this is the thing. I'll show you in a sec. Oh, by the way, guys, it's not good to bend your book back like that. I just did it to show you because it's my book, but yeah. Okay, Roderick. Hates work. Dad brought home an ice cream cake, so if you want some, you better get your butt down there. Greg. I don't know. I'm kind of in trouble. Roderick. Yeah, that's why they got it. Mom and Dad feel bad about punishing you so hard. Greg jumps up and rushes out the door. Heffley hallway just later. Greg races down the stairs and skids to a stop in front of the open archway in the living room. Heffley living room continues. We see the Heffleys are having a quiet cocktail party with a few other couples. Everyone's dressed nicely. There's cheese and crackers, etc. on the coffee table. The adults all stare at Greg in his underwear, who awkwardly covers himself. So, that was cut. Looking for direction. While the studio and the producers were working with the writers on the screenplay, they were also busy looking for a director. After a long search, they chose the Fruitathal. Thor, pronounced Tor, so his name is Tor, was picked to direct Diary of a Wimpy Kid because he had a lot of interesting ideas for how to bring the book to the big screen. He wanted to use a variety of filmmaking styles to capture the spirit of the book and give the audience the feeling of being inside Greg's head. Before he became a director, Tor worked as a special effects artist and animator. Those skills would be very helpful in bringing the world of Greg Heffley to life. But there was something else that helped convince the producers Thor was the right person to direct Diary of a Wimpy Kid. So this is Tor. I think I'm saying his name right. That's him. Right there. As a boy, Tor kept a journal with illustrations just like Greg. And if you're wondering why his entries weren't in English, it's because Tor grew up in Germany. And here's his German version of his like sketches and stuff. And the translation is, "Dear book, today my class had a relay race. My team got last place. A washing machine with quality issues." See guys, this is actually, unless he just wrote it really big, there's a lot more words in German that have to transfer into English. So, and there's a lot less for this one, so pretty cool actually to see German writing. The search for Greg. Once a director was chosen, the search was on for the kid who would play Greg Heffley. It wasn't easy to find a kid who would fit Greg's cartoon shoes. You might have noticed that in the books, Greg wasn't always such a likable character. I guess this has been a learning experience for the both of us. That's a scene from the books. You have to read that to understand what it is, but basically he was being mean to Rally, and he did something bad. Instead of owning up to it, that was his fault, he said, the both of us, it's our fault. Alright, the kid chosen to play Greg would have to pull off a tough trick. He'd have to act like a bit of a jerk at times, but get the audience to root for him anyway. Dozens of television and movie actors were brought in to try out for the part. They were asked to memorize Greg's opening monologue and recite it in front of the camera. First of all, let me get something straight. So this is the him saying that. But no one seemed like a perfect fit. The studio and producers decided to do a nationwide search for Greg. They wrote up a description of the type of kid they were looking for and sent it out everywhere. And this is the description of the kid. The character of Greg Heffley is slight, physically unprepossessing, and not overly cute or precious. He has a quirky, memorable face, is bright and articulate, and possesses a vivid fantasy life, but he is cursed by the fact that he's in middle school. Auditioning actors must be able to handle dialogue and have a flair for ironic comedy. A website was even created to help with the search. Thousands of kids of all shapes and sizes showed up at casting calls and posted their auditions online. First of all, let me get something straight. This is a journal, not a diary. I know what it is. I know what it says on the cover, but when Mom went out and bought this thing, I specifically told her. That's the the monologue right here. This is what I just read. In the end, Zachary Gordon got the part. Zach nailed his audition and left no doubt that he could bring the character of Greg Heffley to life. And who knows, maybe this drawing, which Zach sent to the producers a few days before his 11th birthday, helped him get the job. So this is, Zach said his birthday wish was to get the part. This is, I guess when he was younger, yeah. This is the sketch he made and sent it in for his audition. This is the last chapter we're going to read, Looking for a Friend. What Greg needed next was a best friend. And of course, Greg's best friend in the book was Raleigh Jefferson. Want to come over to my house and play? I was in the movie and the book. In many ways, Raleigh is the opposite of Greg. Raleigh is always happy, innocent kid and loyal friend. Luckily, the perfect Raleigh Jefferson was found in Rhode Island, and his name was Robert Chaplin. Robert had done some stage and film acting as well. And like Zach, Robert drew a picture for the producers to show his enthusiasm for the part. And he said, thank you. Right here. And you know, they did a good job picking them because I could actually see them as the real life. And guys, just so you know, the reason why their drawings seem so young and everything is because they are young. You can see there. So, just so you know that. Or they were young, not anymore. The next step was to get the two boys together and see if they had chemistry. In other words, were Zach and Robert believable as best friends? Robert was flown out to California where he and Zach met for the first time. The two boys did a screen test, which is a short scene that is filmed to see how the actors work together on screen. The actors performed in an empty environment with almost no props or background scenery. For the first test, Greg lectured Raleigh about wearing clothes that are more middle school friendly. The scene made it to the final movie, but it looked completely different. And this is the room they were talking about here, I'm pretty sure. This is the room, and it had like nothing in it and everything. Everyone felt the boys had real chemistry and did a great job bringing Greg and Raleigh and their complicated friendship to life. And that's it for today. We made it to page 24, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. And we'll be back next time to read a little bit more of this. Once we finish this book, we'll talk a little bit about it. I'm going to talk about the chapters that we just read. So basically what happened was, at the very first chapter, they talked about how the Wimp was born. So the character, Greg, that's the character in the book, and Zach is the real life actor to Greg Heffley. Greg Heffley is the character in the book, and Zach Gordon is the actual live person, if you didn't understand that. And then the rough start, they kept going through trying to change their ideas, and it took them years and years to finally put this idea in a book, and then a movie. And the movie was made from different people. The book was made from a different person, Jeff Kinney, and the movie was made by a company, which I cannot find their name, so let's see if we can find them. I don't know, some producers or whatever, but yeah, they made that, and then they had scripts. Some things were cut, some things were still put in. After that, they talked about how they found a director, and he fit the part, and he actually had made a journal before, like Greg Heffley in the book, and he didn't call it, well, he called it a diary, actually. Okay. Then they searched for who Greg would be played by, which is Zach, like I said before. Then after that, they searched for a best friend, Greg's best friend, and they found Raleigh. They wanted him to play Raleigh Jefferson, but his name was Robert. And basically, the first scene they ever did together to see if they had chemistry made it into the movie, just like a totally different background. And that's where we are. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I know I stuttered a lot. This is going to be unedited, just unedited. And I hope you like that. Sorry I stuttered. Hopefully you understood. And bye.